We're talking about a matchup that I know is very near and dear to your heart, Kelly. We have the Wisconsin Badgers, a 6-point road favorite at Purdue. This game has an over-under of 53.5 points. It kicks off on Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Again, if you're not watching the high school Friday Night Lights, this may be a great sickos matchup for you in the Big Ten West on FS1. They first played this rivalry in 1892. Kelly, we're talking about pre-1900s ongoing rivalries here. Wisconsin, though, they've taken 16 straight. The last time Purdue has beaten the Badgers was in 2003, led by Kyle Orton, former NFL quarterback. They fare a little bit better at home than on the road, expectedly, but their average scoring margin since 2003 is minus 16.6 in West Lafayette versus minus 22.6 in Madison. So about a touchdown difference there. Wisconsin, a very injured team. I've talked about it a couple of times here. Their top 6 tight ends are either questionable or out. And when I say out, I mean for the year. They are just banged up at that position. Also, starting center Jake Renfro has yet to play this year. He's out indefinitely, quote unquote, with a foot injury. And I think that the injuries and the fact that this is a new offensive system has just taken a while to take its roots. I'm going to put you on the spot here. Do you have any guess as to who leads Wisconsin in receptions after 3 games?
My guess would be Skylar Bell, but I'm assuming since you're asking the question, I'm probably not right. But that's who I would go with just off the roster of Wisconsin that I have on the top of my head.
It is running back Braylon Allen with 15 receptions as we speak it today.
I should have been smart. I should have known that because you were asking the question. I should have guessed that.
The Badgers are 93rd in EPA per pass. Tanner Mordecai this season has 2 touchdowns to 4 turnover-worthy throws and a career-low 6.9 yards per attempt. Like I said, taking a little while to get the new offensive system to establish its roots under Phil Longo. But Braylon Allen does have a career-high 7.1 yards per attempt. I would attribute that to not facing 8-man boxes. Finally, they said before the year that he was really excited not to have to deal with. On the Purdue side, their defense is an issue. No two ways about it. Fresno State had their way through the air. Then Garrett Schrader this past week just came out and rushed for 200 yards on them. So they need to clean it up both through the air and against the run. They've given up the 7th most 20-yard plays this season with 22 of them just through the 3 games. And they're also one of the worst tackling teams. They have the 9th most missed tackles in the country. Their defensive line is playing fine. They're giving up about 1.25 line yards per carry, but the second level just isn't getting it done. Lots of missed tackles, allowing a lot of what they call highlight yards, which is what the running back produces after they get past the line of scrimmage. And then the offensive side, Purdue's offensive line is also an issue. They're 123rd in EPA per rush, just a 36% success rate. That's 108th nationally. Devin Mockabee, though, he's been pretty good. 16 missed tackles forced. That's top 20 in the country, but he's also fumbled the football 3 times. Wisconsin, you can run on them, which is surprising because they've been pretty stout defensively, but they do limit big plays. They're 17th in EPA per rush, but their 44% success rate allowed is a bottom 30 number nationally. So you can get chunks of yards, but you may not be ripping off the 50-plus yarder on them. They've allowed 11 runs of 10 or more yards, but just 1 over 20 and none that have hit 30 so far on the year, just to kind of illustrate that. But Kelly, how do you break down this Big Ten West matchup featuring your school?
Yeah, the Boilers need to bounce back. They haven't won at home yet this year. I'll get into that in a second. There's only one. I'm talking about Wisconsin first because that's what I do. I talk about the teams that my numbers project to win first. Winners first. Took that one from Josh Pate. I think it's a good rule of thumb. There is only one game the rest of the year in which my numbers project Wisconsin as an underdog. It's a Week 9 home game against Ohio State. However, for the first time all season, Wisconsin is not currently my favorite to win the West Division. The Badgers and Hawkeyes both have a 39% chance to make it to Indianapolis, with my numbers giving Iowa just the slightest of edges. We're talking decimal points as it breaks down here. The reason for this, even though Wisconsin's favored in every game but one, there are 4 games in which the Badgers are projected as a favorite of a touchdown or less. This is one of those games. I have Wisconsin minus 6.5, 68% win expectancy. The Badgers came into the year power rated number 19, number 11 defense, number 43 offense. Now, Wisconsin's number 31 overall with the number 15 defense and the number 55 offense. So they are down across the board here. However, even at number 55 on the offensive side, this is still the best offense in the Big Ten West. Brett, the number 55 is the best offense. Brett, a number 15 defense, only the third best defense in the division. So you have the number 15 defense, it's third best in the division. 55 offense is number 1. I was actually looking at it. This made me curious. 3 of my top 5 defenses overall are in the Big Ten. And they're actually in the Big Ten, or sorry, 4 of the top 5, they're in the Big Ten. 3 of them are in the East. I have Iowa number 1, Michigan number 2, Penn State at number 4, I think, and Ohio State number 5 with Georgia mixed in there too. A lot of good defense in the Big Ten, at least right now, by my numbers. We'll see how that changes, if at all, moving forward. For Purdue, his first-year head coach, Ryan Walters, still looking for his first win at home, like I mentioned, after non-conference losses in Ross-Ade Stadium to Fresno State to open the year, and then Syracuse just this past weekend on NBC primetime. Like Wisconsin, Purdue is down across the board compared to the preseason. Power rated number 66 overall, number 57 offense, number 79 defense. While the offense is the second best in the division behind this Wisconsin Badgers, the defense is dead last in the division. That, to me, is going to be the difference in this game, as Wisconsin does have the advantage on both sides of the ball. Yes, this game is in West Lafayette. It hasn't mattered yet for Purdue. And knowing this is how it goes with Purdue. It's when you don't expect them to win that they are able to pull off an upset and get it done. And I say this as someone who has seen this over and over. It's when Purdue is expected to win, like they were against Fresno State, that they can't get it done. So it'll be interesting. I have Wisconsin minus 6.5. It's a 32% chance for Purdue to pull off the upset win at home. Here we go. Wisconsin, 39% chance to win the West currently. Purdue, 2% chance. All else equal, if Wisconsin wins, that goes up to 45%. Purdue, with that loss, would go to 1%. If Purdue were to win, they're up to a 6% chance to go to Indy, where they were last year, and Wisconsin would be at a 25% chance with a loss. It helps Wisconsin that they get that Iowa game at home later in the year. That's helping them in the projections. That is in Week 7. Very well could be the decider in the Big Ten West, but I feel like I say that almost every year, and it almost every year turns out not to be, at least in recent history, so we'll see how that goes. But that's what the numbers say about wins and losses in this game for these two contenders in the Big Ten West.
Looks like we're both in agreement here, and our numbers are in agreement with the market. You said minus 6.5, sitting at minus 6. You can find a 6.5 if you really are so obligated to. I see like 7, 6. That's pretty much a fair line. I think I lean under, if anything, in this matchup, just because I don't know if Purdue's going to be able to move the ball on Wisconsin, to be honest here, especially with those offensive line issues and the inability to tackle, just be able to, they're not going to be able to speed the game up. It's probably going to be slowed down to the way Wisconsin wants to play it. And if we're looking at 53.5, 54, probably lean under. But that's the most action that I would have in this game here.